Hello, and welcome
Hello there.
to another episode
Oh,
of DrawBomb.
oh.
Like Santa says, oh.
Oh, Nelly.
You know, and it's funny that you're quoting Santa because you know
Homina.
another classic Santa line. But it's funny you bring up.
Pick it up.
That's no, you're mistaking Santa for a ska band.
Skanta.
He wears like checkered.
Oh, yeah, it's checkered like suspenders.
Yeah.
And like instead of the normal Santa hat, it's a fedora.
If you accidentally kill him, you suddenly know how to play the trumpet.
That's right. And a real big fish comes to your town. Real big fish is coming to town. Pick it up.
So Ian, how's it going?
Yeah. Oh, it's going. How about you?
It's going. It's good.
It's been a long.
It's been a couple weeks.
Thrice weeks.
We missed 2 weeks. So I guess it's been 3 weeks
This is
since
the
the
third
last
week.
show. Yeah. Okay. So look,
Yeah.
I'm smack dab in the middle of quarantine. Time doesn't mean anything to me anymore. So
It's a flat circle. So
Right.
say it. Matthew McConaughey. So it shall be done.
Is he the one that came up with that concept?
Well, it's his character in True Detective season 1.
Oh, gotcha.
Have you seen that?
I have.
You've seen that.
Of
Okay, I
course.
was about to be like,
You're like, all right, show's canceled for a third week. We need to stop right now and watch True
we're doing a
Detective.
watch party.
You know what? True Detective season 1 was pretty good, but what I really liked was True Detective season 2. Now that was quality television.
I haven't seen it, but I hear things about it. And,
Okay, so you've already heard how good it is.
oh, I've heard it's so good.
Yeah, it's the greatest. It's it makes the rest of the show look like a joke.
Yeah, exactly. And the third season, I've literally heard nothing about, which bodes well.
Yes,
Bodes very well.
Vince Vaughn's in it.
The third season, he's in the second.
Oh wait,
season.
he's in the second.
Yeah, the third season has Mahershala Ali,
Okay.
and I don't know who else. I don't know about anybody else being in the third
Well,
season.
hopefully it's good. I don't know.
I mean, I didn't hear anything about it, so I can only assume it's better than the second season, but doesn't quite live up to the first season. That's my just guess, based
You know
on
what they say
the lack.
about no news. They don't say anything.
Yeah, because there wasn't any news. It was gone.
Nobody said anything. Yeah, exactly.
So how have you been these 3, 4, 7, 8, 2 weeks?
However many. 2 weeks. I've been good. I've been productive as much as one can be.
Good.
And yeah, the holidays are rolling in hot.
They
Holidays.
Holidays. They're almost here.
They're almost here.
Less than a week, less than 5 days.
It's true. Next episode, we'll be talking about how we have to wait 300 some more sleeps till Christmas.
362 or so.
Right now, it's only 4 more sleeps. Assuming you sleep every night. I don't know what your sleep schedule is
I
like.
don't.
Lately, no. I've had my sleep schedule has hit a new depth like over the past week or so. But
It's
I'm getting it back. It does that thing where it rolled over. It's like
yeah. It's like your cell phone minutes.
Exactly. It got so bad that now it's starting to be normal again.
I've had an interesting sleep schedule. I will go to sleep at somewhat normal time, which when I say that, like a lot of people think like, oh, like around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. It's like around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock.
I would say that's more normal than 8
That's-
o'clock, 9 o'clock.
I mean, yes and no, but it depends on who you're talking to as far as what normal times are. But so I'd go to sleep then, and then I'll wake up halfway through the night at like 2 o'clock, and then just be unable to go back to sleep.
Yep,
So
that
I'm
is
just like,
that is exactly my issue, 100%. If I go to bed before midnight, I will wake up at about 3 o'clock, almost exactly on the dot, like one of those horror movies where everybody wakes up at some evil time. I don't know, and then I'm just wide awake, only long enough until the sun comes up, and then when it's the time that people start actually waking up, that's when I get tired again.
yeah, I've been going through that, and like when I wake up and when I'm awake in the middle of the night, I'm like, oh, this is great. This is a good time for me to like get some work done, but I'm too tired to like actually do work, so I'm just kind of like vegging out, sitting there. Watch my Sims have like a more normal sleep schedule than I do.
Right. So that's the issue I've been having, but I'm finally like, there was like 3 nights of me like waking up at like somewhere from like 3 to 5 a.m. and then just being up the rest of the night. And now I'm finally starting to like,
You've conquered it.
Forced, yeah, just suffered enough that now I'm starting to work. But I actually assumed that you were going through that because there was one night that at like 5 a.m. you like texted me something, and then I was having a similar thing going on, and I just saw that you were online from then on.
Yep, and that's I probably went to bed around like 10 o'clock a.m., something like that, and then slept until like 2 p.m. and been like,
Yep. Seems like we're going through a similar thing right here, but you know, I'm just let me be the one to tell you that there is hope.
Is there?
I slept normal the last 2 days, and that's great.
I actually slept normal today and yesterday as well. I think we conquered it around the same time, strangely enough.
Cool. I'm just gonna enjoy it while I can, because obviously this is not sustainable.
No, not at all. It's gonna go back to hell. It's like, the thing is, like, I have like 2 weeks where it's fucked, and then I have like a week where I'm like, no, like 3 days. Maybe that's being generous, but I have like 3 or so days where I'm like normal sleep schedule, and then it happens all over again, and it's another 2 weeks of my sleep schedule being all fucked. So, love it. Good stuff. Great job. Great.
You know, honestly, if I lived alone and all of life was a quarantine, I wouldn't worry about all the stresses put on me by when I should sleep and when I shouldn't sleep.
Oh yeah, if I was like at my house back in Philly, this would not be an issue. Of course, I'd probably still be working at the bank, so it actually totally would be an issue.
Yeah,
but
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
imagine I didn't have the job and I would still be like in an apartment on my own and like not really beholden to anyone else's schedules. I would be totally fine with this. I'd just be like, all right, you know, so passes the day, so blah 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 blah.
Sleep when I'm tired.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I make my own schedule, but you know, I have like people in this house who make dinner at a certain time, or else I don't like eat food, things like that, and it places a bit of extra stress on, you know, when I should be getting up and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. So it's everybody else's fault. Is the point I'm trying to make.
It's 100% everyone else's fault that there's this much pressure to wake up.
I will say, one thing that really just like knocks me out, puts me right to sleep is pressure of how much I should be sleeping.
That's
just
the song
wipes me out. Yeah, it's about having issues. It's about insomnia.
That verse about the blind man, that's about a blind man, but there's a verse like before that, I think, where they talk about a guy who's not getting enough sleep, and you're just supposed to sort of he's the one you're supposed to really be empathize.
Really, yeah, the blind man, you're like, oh, that's the pits. But when it comes to the sleep guy, you're supposed to be really torn up about it.
Yeah, you're supposed to be like, I can't sleep. And then if you're actually blind, you know, the blind man verse, you're kind of like, I get it. Except these guys don't, because they're singing about being blind, but they're not. Like, how did they don't know.
Right. Exactly.
You don't know David Bowie. Anyways, what have you been watching lately?
Let's see. So I finished The Mandalorian season 2. It was great. Really liked it. I'm not even like a. I feel like I don't know why I have to say this every time I talk about anything Star Wars. I think because there's such like a cult
like
following,
a fandom behind it.
but I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm a like super Star Wars person. Like I like the good Star Wars, but I feel the same way about like Disney or not Disney, but like I guess they own all that. But what I meant to say was like Marvel.
Right, you're not like
there's some of them are fun movies that I enjoy, sure, but I also don't need to like watch all of them, and I don't get super hyped for the 12 trailers that come out each month.
Yeah. Check out Spider-Man 3-7. It's the third iteration of Spider-Man, the 7th time. Oh yeah.
That actually is kind of on point for what they've said the next Spider-Man is going to be.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Have you heard about this? Have
I
you
think
seen this?
so.
Have you heard about this? No, I think they're doing a live action. I think they're doing like a live action like Spider-Verse scenario, and they're talking about getting all like Andrew Garfield and.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, I have heard about that.
I'm on board for that. That sounds great. That sounds unique and interesting, and like that's what I want. Give me the weird shit.
Yeah.
I don't need the same like Thor's Adventure Part 8.
How many times do we have to watch Uncle Ben die? We get it.
They didn't kill him in the newest iteration.
They didn't? Oh, did they just get past?
They made Aunt May Marissa Tomei.
Ready to mingle. Yeah, I saw Far From Home. I didn't see Homecoming though.
So I was gonna say they made her hot, but that seemed rude to the old Aunt Mays. I don't know. I'm not yucking any.
They did make. I mean, look, I
as far as I'm concerned,
I have had a crush on Marissa Tomei since My Cousin Vinny.
That's how long since I've had a crush on Joe Pesci.
Hey, you think this Buick Skylark convertible is
What?
a fucking car?
What do you mean I'm hot? What do you mean I'm hot?
What do you mean I'm hot like Marissa Tomei? What do you mean I'm like Rita Rudna funny? Yeah, you like Rita Rudna funny.
No, thank you.
Anyway, oh my god, thank you. Speaking of which, I watched the newest season of Family Guy that's still kind of coming out. They like keep updating every day with a new episode or something like that. And it's funny because I watched it as soon as I had finished all of the Bob's Burgers episodes. And it was just kind of like, I've talked before about Family Guy on the show and with you,
yes.
Being like, I'm enjoying blah 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 blah, it's not great but blah blah. But then like watching it after watching Bob's Burgers, like Bob's Burgers is just such a more enjoyable show.
Yeah, they seem to give a little bit more of a shit.
They do. It's a lot more. There's a lot more charm and like heart.
Yeah.
In a Bob's Burgers, which is funny because like both shows have been running for, God, how many? Like what? I'm trying to think. Bob's Burgers. Show. Yeah, Bob's Burgers is I believe on their 11th season. Family Guy is I think on their 19th.
Huh.
Those numbers sound right to me.
I'm just gonna agree with you because I mean you've seen all of Family Guy, and not many people can say that.
This is true. I've also, because of an article I'm supposed to be writing, I've been watching all of the Simpsons Christmas episodes.
Oh, nice.
Which has been an interesting experience because there's the golden era of the Simpsons.
Yes.
And then most of the Christmas episodes actually came after that, because they only had a Christmas episode for season 1 and season 7 before the quote unquote golden age ended. And then like I've been watching these and I realized like the seasons that I remember growing up and like watching and enjoying as a kid, aside from like reruns and stuff like that, but the seasons where like I was watching the episodes as they were coming out, are after the golden age, quote unquote.
Oh, really?
Of the show. Yeah.
What's the golden age officially?
I looked it up just to like see if I could find a consensus, and most people consider it to be like seasons 1 through 8.
Okay. I was gonna say like 10.
I was gonna say 10 or so too, but even like I watched the one for season 11, I think, called Grift of the Magi, where the school goes underwater, in debt, and then they get bought by like a focus group, and then the focus group makes Funzo, and I was like,
oh yeah,
this is and like Gary Coleman's a security guard, etc., etc. And like I remember that episode as a kid probably more vividly than a lot of episodes of The Simpsons. And that's like season 11 or so, and that's like well after when people consider Golden Age over, and it's kind of just.
Well, I guess there's no right or wrong answer if you're still enjoying it, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember not liking the show anymore after Tony Hawk came on the show because that episode was real bad.
At a certain point, the show basically became like a late night talk show where they're like, "Here's our special guest."
Yeah, and like even the episodes that I've like the one I just talked about with the focus group, that still got Gary Coleman in it, which is, and Tim Robbins voices the character. They're not like this is Tim Robbins, but for Gary Coleman, they're just like this is Gary Coleman, the security guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Like, the episodes are still funny, which is the thing. Like, you know, obviously the show is bad once the show stops being funny.
Yeah.
It's just interesting because I always thought like those episodes occurred earlier in the show, and not. So
interesting. Yeah, I've been rewatching Simpsons a little bit. I'm still in like season 2 or 1 or something. I don't know, but it's a good show.
It is a good show.
A little annoyed by I know I'm not. This has been an issue for a while. People have been complaining about, but Disney Plus they like purposely crop it so it's not like the old.
Oh yeah.
And anyways, a lot of visual gags get like just like straight up cropped out of the scene.
Yeah, I did read
like,
about that. You freaking maloops.
Oh, so I was saying, and then I got distracted by talking about Marissa Tomei. I finished Mandalorian.
And she's
2.
in it.
No, she's not, unfortunately. But it's good. I liked season 1 a lot. Season 2 was good too. It's like peak Star Wars. It's I would say short of the actual original movies, it's the best Star Wars thing there is. I don't know. And not that the bar is high. I don't really like any of the other stuff, honestly. But
you don't? Oh my god, dude! Like, get out of my.
I know, what a bold stance to take. But like Rogue One, man, it was like a war movie. Yeah, whatever.
I didn't even see Rogue One.
It's
I haven't seen any of the newer Star Wars things after the first new sequel trilogy thing, like the very first one. Not like I was avoiding the rest, but I just like never found the drive to be like, yeah, let me watch the rest of those.
Yeah, I mean, you know, who cares, honestly.
You know, they're special when there's like 3 of them or, you know, however many, but as soon as you have, like, once they become a franchise and you're like, here's 80 things of this thing, which they already were. I mean, I was playing Star Wars games as a kid. There was like 18 books that came out. But, you know, having just the 3 movies and then the 6 kind of kept it still sort of like that defined experience. But now that, like, they're going to release a movie or a thing every year, it's not like a thing I have to, like, go and see because, like, you know, it's like I'll catch the next train when it comes around or whatever.
Right. I don't know. The latest like trilogy was not that great, anyways. So
yeah, right here I didn't really miss a whole lot.
So it's whatever.
It was a fun start. Like the very first
I will agree.
movie that had a lot of things that I thought would make for a good trilogy. Like
I had high hopes.
Yeah, it introduced characters that I was like, oh, I actually like these characters. They have personalities. They're related, or they're not necessarily relatable because I'm not a space like refugee or whatever. But like, you know, they're
the characters were relatable in the way that they acted.
Yeah, exactly. You know, having hopes and dreams and et cetera, et cetera. But then I hear they just squandered all of that, so.
It got weird. I don't know. I feel like it got weird, but who can say? But yeah, Mandalorian's great. It feels good. It's like kind of like serialized, so like each episode kind of feels independent of the other, like as far as the adventures go. I mean, this one had a little bit more of an overarching story than the previous season, I feel like, but still, that's not like a criticism. And then, yeah, it was just good, and the finale was awesome. Finale of the first season was probably my favorite episode too, so that's kind of it's kind of a cool trend, I guess. Like I
Good finales.
it's fun when the last episode before you have to wait a year for more is like the best episode of the season.
Hot finale.
I want to mention something that I didn't like, but it's a full-blown spoiler, so I can't really. And even if I like try to be like secretive about it, I think it will still spoil it in some ways without straight up giving it away, because it's like kind of a specific thing.
I'm gonna send you a message on Discord.
Okay, I'll tell you if you're correct.
Oh, hold on. It's
Not exactly.
Well, no, you see how they put stars around, like this is what it was supposed to be.
Oh yeah, well that wasn't the spoiler I'm talking about, because who cares?
Okay,
But,
I wasn't sure because I didn't care because I looked it up and I was like,
Yeah, no, that changes nothing. I mean, you know.
I'm confused by that. I don't understand. Like,
Why?
his name-
Well, that's not Yoda.
Well,
Okay, so Ian's
I thought
referring
it
to that
was.
they named the baby Yoda character. No,
Isn't
this
it-
is not Yoda. This is a same species.
Oh, that makes it so much more interesting.
It's a different creature.
So does this take place before or after
Takes-
every?
Takes place after the original trilogy and before the new trilogy. It's like shortly after the original trilogy.
Okay.
Like I have like 10 years or less after the original trilogy.
Okay.
But like, 20 years before.
Well, that
You
shakes
can
up
just-
my perception of everything.
Yeah, so that's why Ian was referring to he. I don't feel like that's a spoiler. They gave a name to the Baby Yoda character because he's always called the child in the show.
Because I can't call him Baby Yoda.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it's not Yoda. It's whatever
No,
that
Yoda.
species is, and I don't think they've ever given the name to that species of alien that Yoda is. But he's the same, whatever, type of creature.
But okay, so without spoiling it, what was the spoiler?
I will tell you after, but I don't want to ruin it for people who actually care.
Don't spoil it for me either. I'll watch the show eventually.
Okay.
I need to get somebody's. You know what? I'm gonna skip past that sentence. Anyways. What games have you been playing?
Cyberpunk, mainly.
What else?
I don't know if there's been anything else. I've been keeping pretty busy, surprisingly. It's funny that, I mean, it makes sense ultimately, but the fact that I've not going to my day job has made me be very productive because I'm not all burnt out all the time. So I've been I've been accomplishing a good amount of stuff throughout the day. It feels good.
Well, good for you.
Seems like there's some. It feels like you're not actually happy for me. I don't know.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm being serious. I am happy for you. I'm glad you have time to.
Oh no, Jeff Bezos just messaged us on our stream chat. It says, "Guys, you can't draw a dog about to or in the act of peeing/pooping. Take it down or get banned."
Maybe if you just get rid of the butthole, we'll be fine.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you can't draw a dog's butthole. You can draw other buttholes, but no dog's butthole. That's Twitch rules.
God damn it, Twitch! And if you catch us drawing buttholes again, it'll probably be Brandon. I am very acutely aware of where I brandish my buttholes at.
You see, I didn't read the newest Twitch bylaws. They send out like new ones like every week and a half. It's crazy, and like it's like a giant stack.
Oh, that's how they get you. They don't expect you to actually read all of it.
I know, and it shows up in the I don't like. You'd think for a digital platform you just get an email, but I keep getting them in the mail. These giant like phone book things, and like I can't read all the rules.
Waste of paper, really.
And like it turns out half the manual is all information about what
How
not
Jeff
being able to show
Bezos-
pooping and buttholes and things like that.
Yeah. And there's a whole portion dedicated to how Jeff Bezos likes, well, a variety of things, like his foot rubbed, his de-essed, as we like to, euphemize it as, how he likes his back scratched, how he likes his parfaits stirred, how he likes his de-essed. That's brought up multiple times. He likes it.
He likes to mention the de-essing a lot.
He likes it a very specific way.
I saw a funny. This is the segment of the show where we should end Jeff Bezos. We do very often. I feel tougher, even though I have bought things from Amazon this week. I show my dissent by shit talking him on his own platform while making him money simultaneously.
Yeah, we make him money because you watch his ads when you we don't get any money from that.
Yeah.
So.
I saw this meme recently where it was like comparing. Basically, first it showed Scrooge, and he was like, "You must work on Christmas," and then it all of a sudden skipped over to Jeff Bezos, and he's like, "Yeah, and you can't use the bathroom," and it goes back to Scrooge, and he's like, "What? What the fuck?" It's like, no, they can use the bathroom, and he's like, I don't know, but it was just like comparing them. Basically he's worse than Scrooge.
You know, it's funny because, Scrooge was a satire of business ethics and things back then, but obviously with satire, it helps to go above and beyond to get your point across, which means that Scrooge was, a caricature of one of those types of businessmen, I assume, back then. Whereas our dude now, like, we're just used to dudes being fucking flat out worse and terrible, and we just accept that.
We praise him for it.
Yeah. I'm gonna Elon Musk's ass. I want to mine for his diamonds.
Boy, what a visionary that man is to buy Tesla.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy, and like he's like, hey, all of his workers are like, hey, can we get we're thinking about unionizing because we'd like healthcare, and he's like, hey, fuck your healthcare. What if we got you roller coasters?
He gave his people roller coasters?
Well, they were like, we're gonna unionize because we want healthcare, and he was just like, if you don't unionize, I'll build an amusement park for you guys to use.
And then they promptly told him to go fuck off, right? Because
I don't remember how to
do with the amusement park. It's like, great, but this doesn't help with my health condition.
Yeah, I have lupus, so.
The same health condition I have that requires me to buy expensive medication also doesn't allow me to ride roller coasters.
Yeah. It's too much shaking of my tummy and intestines.
Right.
Can't do it.
That's the official prognosis.
That's
the
what
doctor says, no shaking your tummy.
Can't. No, you can't shake that tum around.
That's when you get a second opinion.
That's right.
The doctor's like, no, that first guy was right. You better not shake that tum.
I swear to God, if you
will die on the spot.
We will have to get you a tum transplant.
And that doesn't. It's hard to get on the top of that list.
You don't know how hard it is to perform a tumectomy.
A lot of people need tum-tums.
That's right. Why do you think the pill is called Tums, huh?
Why?
They're not being. It's because it helps your tum.
Oh. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
It's the Latin word for stomach. Just think about it. Stomach. Tum-mac. Tum.
Okay. Sure. I don't know how I didn't see it before.
In this scenario, the doctor is now yelling at the patient.
Right.
He's like drawing Venn diagrams and pie graphs going, the tum is here. The tum is here. They're two separate organs, but the same organ.
There's the tum and then there's the other tum. Together they equal the tum.
That's right. Tum 1 and tum 2.
Boy,
anyway,
we're on a roll.
Have you been watching any Christmas movies?
I haven't. Like we keep like sitting down every night being like, let's watch a Christmas movie, and then We just get tired and then don't do it. So it hasn't happened yet, but you know, I still have time. Fortunately, I feel like there's only like 3 or 4 that are like mandatory for me each year in my head.
We've been trying out new Christmas. I mean, we watched Elf tonight. Most of it.
New Christmas movie. Huh?
But we watched a couple of new ones just to kind of see what's the happy haps with the Christmas movies. I mean, you've seen The Night Before, which isn't a new one. We haven't seen that this year yet.
The Night Before.
It's got Seth Rogen, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, third guy whose name I don't recognize.
I have not seen this.
It's fun. You know, it's not like it's not trying to be the best Christmas movie ever, but it's enjoyable, and it's like interesting because they have like a couple plot points set up, and if you think they're gonna sort of rehash tired plot points where you're just like, this is just a stupid misunderstanding, this is so frustrating, and then they'll like cap off the storyline by having the characters be like, no, it's fine, like this is not a misunderstanding, I totally like things end up being like the characters end up like a lot of movies would be like, this character does this thing, and then it's just lies for another hour and a half because they couldn't tell the truth right here and right now. And the movie kind of sets and the movie kind of sets some of those up, and then when the characters actually talk it out, the one character's just like, no, like I totally get why you would be like scared about this or that or whatever. Like, you know, I don't want to kind of give it away, not because it's like give it away now. What you got, you gotta give it to your mama.
What you got, you gotta give it to your papa.
What you got, gotta give it, put it in you.
So what do they think? What do you think they're talking about? Those red hot chili boys. It's something that you're supposed to give. You're supposed to put it in you, but you're also supposed to give it away to everybody.
Hi there. What is semen?
What you got to get it, put it in you. Give it away now.
Is it my dick? Or I'm sorry, I need to rephrase that more. What is my dick?
What is my dick?
Somebody needs to cut that into an audio clip so that it just sounds like I don't know.
And we'll talk about it after the show. This is, you know...
Sorry, going to Twitter now.
You know, this is why they need to put more funding into sex education.
What you gotta give it. It's a jigsaw puzzle piece.
Why do you gotta give it to your mama or your papa? Well, then
solve the puzzle.
Lest we not forget the next lyric. You gotta give it to your papa. Do a little dance and then you drink a little water.
Yeah, so like you ever see that scene in Swordfish where Hugh Jackman is dancing while he's also hacking into like the mainframe he's supposed to hack into of the bank or whatever?
Obviously, we've all seen that scene. We all watch it every morning when we wake up.
That's right. So it's like that, except you're putting the jigsaw puzzle piece together, and as you're like putting it together, you're drinking water and you're dancing like Hugh Jackman is in that scene.
You're very excited to complete the puzzle.
Exactly. I mean, aren't you? Haven't you ever like
always? I'm always very excited to complete a puzzle.
You've never done a 1,000-piecer, bruh?
I actually feel like a fool for not having done any puzzles this year. I feel like this is the year for puzzles.
Bruh. You haven't put together a 1,000-piecer this year? Bruh.
How many 1,000 pieces have you put together this year?
Bro, I put down a 1,000-piecer like every other month, dude. Yeah. I got like walls of 1,000 pieces. I put down 1,000 pieces like so much, bro.
Are you okay? I feel like you're having a stroke.
I think I'm having. Hold on. I smell toast.
Oh no. Oh boy, we've been warned about this.
Give it away, give it away.
No, you're gonna swallow your tongue. Don't sing. Don't sing Red Hot Chili Peppers lyrics.
Give it away, give it away, give it away now.
Well, you know. I guess we'll never know what they gave away. Maybe it's a song about charity.
Charity?
Yeah. Giving it away now.
You know, that'd be very seasonal appropriate.
That's why, I don't actually believe that's what it's about, but...
No, I know, but what if it was?
I believe in the, like, music video, if I remember correctly, from being confused as a child. They're, like, wearing, like, devil costumes dancing around in the desert.
That sounds about right. I remember the Weird Al version of the music video.
What was that one called?
Yabba Dabba Doo Now.
Oh, you're right. It was the Flintstones. I recall.
That was the first DVD I think my family ever owned.
A Weird Al DVD?
A Weird Al music video collection DVD.
Not a bad start.
We were like, what is this new device? Here's these Weird Al music videos. You can pick any one from a menu. It was like the perfect encapsulation of all of the benefits of a DVD.
Yeah, you learned what the new technology was capable of with a Weird Al music video.
That's right. If you didn't get a Weird Al DVD for your first DVD, you sorely missed out on the multicultural revelation of technology it was.
Right. Hey, that kid's floating way up in the sky.
I'm making it an adult who's just very creeped out by the whole situation. Even adults are disturbed.
Wow, that's how you know that this is a... Actually, in Frosty, adults were the only ones who were disturbed.
Yeah, that's true. The kids were just like, yeah, this thing came to life. And all the adults were like, oh my god.
Remember the scene where the cop swallowed his whistle? Like...
That's true.
That would kill a man.
The whistle? Because of like lead poisoning? Because the whistles were...
Because how do you swallow a whistle? You choke to death, right? I believe he goes like, whoa! He's like a traffic cop, and he like it startles him, and he goes, whoa! And then it like goes in his mouth, and he swallows it, and then he's like trying to yell, and a whistle noise comes out, which gives me the sign that it's stuck in his throat.
Yeah,
at least there's still air making its way through, but
yeah, he's definitely having a hard time breathing, but he's definitely gonna have a hospital visit in this near future.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Certainly. So
one policeman dead. Frosty came to town that day. Left a trail of bodies.
One of those towns that like the rest of the world thinks they're a bunch of like dumb hicks now. Like the same as like if there's like an alien lands in a town and then everybody thinks that those people are idiots in the rest of the world.
Yeah, they're like, no, we swear we had a snowman happen, and people are just like, please don't.
Oh my god. Go to someone skipped. Someone didn't graduate high school.
This is why Oklahoma's a flyover state.
Is that where Frosty takes place?
No, I'm just imagining it does. I don't know. Do they ever reference?
I don't think so.
Let's look it up.
Geography is not an important detail in kids' holiday movies.
Let's find. I'm gonna Google it. I bet you that in some brief scene they mention where it takes place.
Frosty's like, "Happy birthday!" and then he dies.
Yep. The song supposedly takes place in White Plains, New York, or Armonk, New York.
Those aren't real places.
They are. I see buildings from them. Wow.
My apologies to any of our viewers from Armonk. I know we have a few.
I'm looking up the Rankin Bass special now. So the song takes place in New York.
Right, fine.
But you know the movie is based on a song. But I'm gonna see if there's any extra.
So here's the part of that movie that I don't think gets enough, or that story that doesn't get enough attention. So Frosty only came to life because a magician. He stole a magician's hat, but like that magician's hat obviously held very supernatural qualities. It could animate a snowman. So this is like some weird like demonic warlock who is doing like shitty magic nearby.
Yeah, what's the question?
I guess it was more of a statement than a question. Is that weird to anyone else? Huh?
No, that makes perfect sense to me. Right. Doesn't leave any plot holes open. Not a concern.
I mean, okay, so if your hat is the source of your power and you're using that like supernatural power to do like card tricks for children and make like probably not very good money, that's the whole thing. But then, like, literally just like a slight gust of wind blew it away from him.
Yeah, and now like if it like landed on a dead body, zombie movie. Like it could have been.
It could have landed on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Thank God it landed on a snowman who just loves Christmas.
It lands on a
Santa.
car. Stephen King book about that car. What was that one called? Carol.
No. Oh well, that exists, and but no, he has a. I thought you were talking about Maximum Overdrive.
No, I'm talking about the one specifically where it's a car.
What is that called? That's called Drawing a blank. Not that it matters, but
Look it up.
Okay.
I just did a Google. I couldn't find any details about where they do
Christine.
take a parade through town. Christine.
That's the killer car.
I was right. It was a woman's name that starts with a C.
Yep. I could have told you were right on that part. I just didn't know what the.
You just left me twisting in the wind. How
Oh,
could you?
I didn't. I looked it up.
Tis the fucking season, huh?
It's supposed to be the spirit of giving, you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. Season's greetings.
Oh. Well, that movie sounds great. I want to watch that.
I want to watch that movie.
Okay,
Why?
so here's the question I wanted to ask you earlier because we kind of were talking about it. What are some of your must-watch Christmas movies?
Scrooged.
That's one that I need to add because I don't. I've seen it, multiple amount of times, but it's usually not like one that I watch every year.
Yeah. Scrooged. We always watch Muppets Christmas Special where they visit Fozzie's mom.
Is Muppets Christmas Special different than the one with Michael Caine, the Scrooge?
That was That's one's Muppets Christmas.
Oi, you bloody Muppets!
Oh, is that Cratchit? Cratchit? Oh, what you doing in my house, Cratchit? What you got all the chains on for? Take off those chains.
I made a mistake by doing a Michael Caine impression in front of you, or even mentioning him for.
Why would you do that? Don't you know if you mention Michael Caine, I'm going to do Michael Caine for the rest of the show?
Well, no, we'll move on from that. First off,
You can't bloody move on when you bring up Michael Caine.
look in one eye. Hidden Pixel Play says, "Good evening, DrawBomb." Good evening, and they suggest their movies are Scrooged, Gremlins. That's a good one too that I don't think about.
Oh, I never
Gremlins. I need to add that. Muppet Family Christmas. There you go.
We also have Elf on the list. We always do. Hold on, what's the other one I'm thinking of? Elf. Opus Christmas Special, where we wish. Yeah, Opus. Yeah, you ever read like the comic Bloom County with Opus the Penguin? So he's got like an animated Christmas movie where he like writes to Santa about how he wishes he had wings that could let him fly. And
Did it start as a book?
It did start as a book, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
I remember reading the book, but I never saw the animated one.
Yeah, this came out like I remember watching this like as long as I can remember ago. So this came out like in the 80s or the early 90s or something like that. It's really good though.
So check that out. I need to
I haven't seen it in a while, but that I try and get like Home Alone and Home Alone 2 in there because I do love those movies.
Home Alone 1 is a must for me. Elf is a good, that's usually one in there. I usually watch Christmas Vacation.
That's a great one. We usually try and get that in there too.
I feel like there's one more.
I do. I like to watch that. Yeah.
I feel like there's one more I'm not thinking of.
We'll watch White Christmas if we're.
I usually watch Die Hard.
Die Hard's good.
But I also don't. That one's not mandatory, but it's a good one.
We're gonna watch Die Hard tomorrow, which will be a good time.
Yes.
What service is that on? Where can we? Is that on Netflix?
I'm sure it's somewhere. If it's not, I'll track it down for us.
All right, cool. But yeah, we do Die Hard. Try and watch National Lampoon.
But yeah, I'm gonna try to watch Gremlins this year. That's a good one. And Scrooged. Those are two that I haven't watched in a few years. They're good ones.
They're very good. Our family used to watch Emmett Otter's Drug Band, which Hidden Pixel brought up in the chat. We used to watch the Drug Band Emmett Otter one, but then we decided the one year it was boring, so we stopped watching that one. there's just so many Christmas things.
Yeah.
And then we usually try and pepper in like the Christmas episode of TV shows. So like we watched the Community one yesterday.
Yeah, that's one that that was another thing that we watch, try to watch each year.
And so we watched some new movies this Christmas. Not like one was actually new, like it came out like this year. One was one that came out last year, but we finally watched it. So we watched Klaus, which was interesting.
Oh yeah, I liked Klaus. I thought that was pretty good.
I liked Klaus. I thought it was cute.
The animation style was awesome.
The animation was fantastic. Very pretty movie. I mean, really predictable plot, but you're not really looking for. You're kind of lucky if you get something above and beyond. Even watching Elf this year, I was kind of like, you could tell that they were trying to make just your standard cookie cutter Christmas movie, and then they just ended up somehow making a better movie on accident.
So I feel like we were talking about this with somebody recently, or maybe it was somebody else. I don't remember, but it's definitely. I think it starts off really strong as like its own thing, and then it kind of turns into the cookie cutter thing.
Yeah, that's true. Cause like the opening when he's like with Bob Newhart or Bob Newhart, I think. Where he's narrating everything and he's doing a great job, and then it's like fun when it's like back at Santa's workshop, and then like once it turns into the love story, it's kind of like very generic. It's still a very heartwarming and fun movie though.
I even like it up to the. I mean, I love the whole thing, but I even think it's still pretty original up to the love story. I think it gets cookie cutter as soon as he runs away and finds Santa, and then they're like trying to get the Christmas cheer. That's like the whole. I don't hate that part of it, but it is the part where it becomes like every Christmas movie instead of like more of a Hallmark thing than like what it was.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. It's also just, I mean, it's just interesting because they were definitely not trying to make an above average movie. I feel like they were trying to make one that made money, and then it's just like the writing in it's actually decent, and then it's actually
good writing, good acting.
Yeah, so it just happened to be like a bunch of ingredients that worked together that made it. Because even like you can tell when a movie is not really trying super hard because like the music is all like MIDI or like stock instruments that are just kind of going like wow wow wow. There's just there's a certain quality to a soundtrack when you can tell. I like
certain parts of the Elf soundtrack quite a bit though.
Oh no, I do. It's fine, but like a lot of it is like they'll be like walking around on a staircase going like, oh, what am I gonna do here? And there's like an oboe going like, okay. There's like cues and stuff that whenever I hear them, I'm kind of just like, that's a cheap sounding cue.
Fair.
Which is a weird thing to say, I know, but
maybe unfair then. No, but yeah, no, I know what you mean though. Certain like it's funny how certain things that are naturally subtle come off. They like set like something will feel cheap even if like it's something that's normally in the background. That's not. You don't know why you think something feels cheap, and then it's like something subtle like that, like the music choices and things like that.
And it doesn't even necessarily mean that it is cheap, because I'm sure like how much did they spend on that movie? Let's find out.
I'm sure they had a decent production. There's a lot of people in it.
You can always find the budget. I'm curious now because.
Hidden Pixel Play also says the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just said it was made for $33 million, which is.
Seems like a lot.
It seems like a lot. I mean, I think it is for back then. Nowadays, like a cheap movie is $80 million, which is insane to think about.
No wonder they don't make movies anymore.
Yeah. Right.
It's all TV shows.
It's because Disney owns them.
Yeah. Maybe if one studio owns all the movie production companies, then who cares what they cost? Because it's only one company. Hidden Pixel Play says the Bob's Burgers 2 part Christmas special is so good. The Bleakening.
We have watched every Bob's Burgers Christmas special.
Right, but
sorry, go ahead.
Does this one stand out to you, or do you know what one they're talking about?
Oh no, I know the one they're talking about. It does stand out. It's a really good episode. It's really funny, and it is a two-parter, so it's nice to kind of has more of a quote-unquote special feel to it because it's actually
What is that one about? I'm trying to think of it.
So like it starts out like the gay club's getting shut down because.
Oh yeah, is it one with his dad?
No, that's a different
okay,
one.
never mind.
But the gay club's getting shut down because they're breaking like fire code or whatever, and then everyone's Christmas stuff keeps getting stolen. After like Linda wakes up, she has a dream where she hosts like a big lavish Christmas party. They throw the Christmas party. Their tree that they had for the Christmas party, which is part of their actual tree, gets stolen, and then they're looking for the tree as well as other people's ornaments that got stolen, or other people's like Christmas decorations that got stolen, and they don't know why. And then the kids go looking for it. Ted tells them that it's a bleakin, which is kind of like a Krampus, but it like feeds on sad children or whatever and steals shit. And then the kids go searching for it. They find a hidden like a factory that's hidden underground, and then it turns out to be a replacement dance club for the gay club that got shut down at the beginning of the episode. And yeah, I mean that's the whole episode basically. Nice. Just over the course of like 2 episodes. But it's pretty good. It's funny. The song at the end is a bop, as Hidden Pixel Play says. I mean, the music in that show is always good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a good one. I'm trying to think of my favorite Bob's Burgers Christmas episodes because I've seen them both. Like I've seen them all like twice in the last month or so now. The newest one was pretty fun because it's like Jimmy Pesto and Bob are both like they're at like this yacht. Yeah, he's great. But in like the newest one, they kind of have it sort of where Jimmy Pesto actually like throws Bob a bone and is like, well, without giving the whole episode away, which who cares because it's like 1 episode out of like 80 million on that show. But Jimmy Pesto invites Bob to cook at this fancy yacht club event, and then Bob's trying to find out the whole like episode why he got invited to the yacht club by Jimmy Pesto of all people, and it's a nice friendly episode. I enjoy it. It's a good one. It's interesting. That show has done so many Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween episodes.
I understand why it wouldn't happen in animation as often, but I always would get mad at shows I like, especially when they had like the occasional really good like holiday episode. When the holidays rolled around and then they didn't do the holiday episode, I'd be like, oh come on, do a holiday episode. I need to know that life is normal.
I mean, also a lot of times like the holiday episodes are the best episodes because they kind of because they're holidays, they sort of force a lot of character moments because it's like, how does this character react to the holidays? How do they feel about love and togetherness? And blah, 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 blah. Right. For instance, like Community did great.
That one's awesome.
Holiday episodes.
That'd be like the most expensive episode of the whole season.
I think it was. I mean, I read somewhere how they like saved budget in certain episodes by like the one episode. I forget. I think it was season 3 or 5, or it was one of the ones with Dan Harmon back. I'm pretty sure. But the one episode, they introduce a song in the episode, and then they use that episode or they use that song for the rest of the season because they already bought the rights to it, and apparently it like drained the whole season budget, or some song in the season drained the whole season's budget or something like that. I'll just look it up. This is a terrible way to talk about this. The one where they all turn into zombies, though, is great.
Oh, they used so that whole episode, it's a great device, and it seems like a one-off joke, which is funny that it probably was very expensive, but basically, in the beginning of the episode, someone comments to the dean how, like, why is every song at this party ABBA? And it's the dean's playlist, and so then as it's like becomes a zombie episode and people are like running for their lives and getting eaten, it's all ABBA songs playing. Like it goes through like 8 different ABBA songs throughout the whole episode, but it's awesome. That's like one of my favorite shows. It's so good.
It's a good joke. That's not the joke I'm thinking of, but that is a great. I mean, that whole
like that's such a one-off that was probably very expensive, but it's like probably made the writers' room laugh enough that they're just like, no, we're spending the budget on licensing like this many ABBA songs.
Yeah. It was in the third season, it turns out. Something about the third season. Oh, you know what? It was Roxanne. They got the rights to the song Roxanne for the Dice episode.
Yeah. Yeah, because the multi, like, the universe one, whatever, where they roll the dice, yeah.
Yeah, and then, let me see here. Oh, there's, like, things I gotta expand. For continuity, pop culture, blah, blah,
Seems
blah.
like a weird thing to spend a lot of money on.
I know, right?
It's like, it could have been any song.
Okay, in the Community Complete third season DVD commentaries, it's mentioned that securing the rights to the song Roxanne used up most of the season's music budget. This resulted in the use of the songs such as Daybreak in many of the remaining season 3 episodes. Daybreak. Yeah.
That's Daybreak.
Yeah, so they used that song
that
so
became
much.
like a running joke.
Yeah, because they had spent so much of the budget, especially for music, on getting Roxanne for that other episode.
Well, that's funny.
That is funny. But that is a great episode. I think the Dice episode might be the best episode in the show. That
it's
or
there.
Yeah, the conspiracy theory episode's I think my favorite.
There's a lot of really good ones. It's hard to just straight up say, but that one's great. The Dungeons and Dragons is a classic.
That is a classic.
The one you mentioned is great. I don't know. There's a lot of really good ones. That was one of the shows me and Morgan hadn't seen the whole show, so that was one of the shows we binged during this year of being stuck inside.
Nice.
Among many others. Right now we are binging Reno 911, which is awesome.
That is a great show.
I have been wanting to binge it for a long time, but it hasn't really been anywhere that's accessible.
Yeah.
For a while.
How are you guys watching it again?
It's on HBO now, and
nice.
I think.
Yeah, they brought that show
Quibi
back.
went down in it. Yeah, I haven't seen any of the newest season, but I'll probably look that up once we finish everything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I doubt it's worth watching because I just don't have any faith in anything that was on Quibi.
Well, I mean, I would have to imagine that Quibi's not behind the writing of the show, though. They'd probably bring back the same kind of people.
Oh, but I'm sure they have a hand, like, whatever
Yeah.
network you're on has a hand in, like, decisions on, like, they can sort of veto and...
True. But, I mean, I guess my thought is, you're right, but ultimately I think the show existed for a long time, they know what product they're buying. If you can get some of the original writers back, that's a bonus, stuff like that. And I think also, a lot of the cast had something to do with the writing of the show. So, I don't know. I have high hopes, but I haven't seen any of it.
Yeah, well, if you get around to watching it, I don't know if they have that on HBO since Quibi shut down.
It's probably not, but I'll track it down somewhere.
Yeah,
when I get around to that part.
They just put MXC on Amazon Prime.
Really?
That's
very good information.
Yeah.
I'll take advantage of that.
Enjoy.
That's awesome. I used to watch a lot of that as a kid.
Me too.
Guy Ledouche.
Yeah, I forgot about his name, but I remember that character. Yeah. There are so many, that show had some hilarious, inappropriate jokes in it that I was even, as a kid, too young to, understand, but I was, still watching it because funny to watch people fall on their ass.
Yep.
Speaking of which, we haven't played Fall Guys since the new season came.
I know, I want to. We should. Maybe
What's
tonight or something.
What the fuck is wrong with us? So you've played Cyberpunk, and that's about.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've really been playing. I played a little bit of Fall Guys, not much, but played a round or 3.
Nice. I heard the new races are a lot.
I think they're cool. I like them.
Yeah, I've been hoping for longer laps.
Longer, yeah. There's a lot more to them. I lose them more often, though. I'm finding.
Too much space to mess up.
Yeah. You get caught up in one part of the thing, you're done for.
You just can't lose that momentum.
Right.
You're fucking up, Brandon.
Boy, is this going to be a one drawing episode again?
No, I hope not.
I don't think so.
Still gotta draw our Santa drawing.
Yeah, that's next. Well, we can't be. We're not gonna put ourselves into little boxes.
I don't like to put myself in a box. Oh yeah, so other new, so I told you I watched 2 Christmas movies, one new, one not new, but it was new for us, and so I told you about the one that was not new, but was new for us,
Okay.
which was Clark, which I liked. But the other one that we watched was Jingle Jangle.
What's that one?
That's the new Netflix Christmas movie, stars Forrest Whitaker, and a bunch of people I don't know.
Okay.
It's kind of like a black Christmas movie though. It's primarily black cast.
Okay.
Ricky Martin plays a toy. He's like the voice of a toy.
So he has no lines?
No, he talks a lot.
I just thought because he was a toy.
Oh, no, and he voices the toy, but he doesn't have any lines.
Yeah, it's not. It's it's like most toys. They don't talk because they're inanimate objects.
It's like an Oh Hello on Broadway. They have Matthew Broderick in it, but he doesn't have any lines.
It's like it's like South Park how they like had George Clooney be a dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Or famously, Jerry Seinfeld's people contacted them for him to be on the show, and they're like, "He can be the voice of this chicken," and they were like, "Fuck you." They did not take him up on that.
They did not find it funny.
I love that they do that.
Yeah, I would have.
And also the fact that they're like, at the time they weren't there yet, but now definitely like they could say fuck you, and everybody'd be like, well, okay, fine then. But at the time that they were doing it to people, they were not that big yet.
So did George Clooney actually voice the dog?
He did it. Yeah, he was on board.
I respect that.
He's like, I want to be part of your show, and they're like, okay, you can be a dog. Like if you watch Big Gay Al's Big Gay Adventure, like the first episode that he's on.
Yeah.
It's Kyle or Stan, I don't remember.
It's Kyle's dog.
Yeah, his dog's gay, and that's actually George Clooney going bark.
That's hilarious. Is it? I'm actually curious whose dog it was. I'm pretty sure it's Stan's dog. Yep, Stan's dog. Well, that's hilarious. I didn't know about that.
Good for George Clooney to be a good sport.
Yeah.
You saw the comedy in it.
Yeah, I mean, I would be like, fuck yeah, let me be his dog.
Like, that's really funny. This is the role you give me, George Clooney.
Yeah.
And, and I think they appreciate that too, because in the movie he has lines. He's the doctor. So. He's the one that puts a baked potato in Kenny's.
I had never put that together. That's fantastic. You replace your heart with a baked potato. You have 3 seconds to live.
Damn it, man! It never gets any easier. And then they just like walk off. It's lunchtime.
That's great. Jingle Jangle was all right. When I say it was all right, I mean it's a musical, and I really, really hate. I don't hate musicals.
Really? I'm surprised. I like musicals.
No, here's the thing. I love the concept of musicals. It's just the type of song that musicals frequently choose to sing are ones that I don't like.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of like, all of a sudden they're doing a big music number, and I'm just like, oh god, this song
You don't like show tune type stuff.
I don't like show tune type music. It's just
I can in the context of a musical. Like if I'm like, I know what I'm watching. I know this is a musical. I can get behind show tunes.
Yeah, I have a hard time. Like
You're
for instance,
I don't like it. I'm just.
I know. It's just like there are musicals that I like. Like for instance, I really enjoy. I mean, I don't really enjoy it, but I watch White Christmas with the family as a Christmas movie because a lot of the songs in that are like jazzy duets or whatever.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
they're not. There's like a very musical theater kind of like song that a lot of musicals sort of stick to. Like I like Moana, like the songs in Moana, and I usually end up liking the songs by the actors who, like they're an actor who either brought onto the project, and you're like, I didn't know that The Rock could sing, because then like The Rock can't really sing like other people can, but they give him a song that he can at least hit his notes in. So it's not
write a song for the people.
Yeah, and I end up liking those songs the most because they're like. A lot of other songs and musicals are just like, let me sing with all of my rage.
They're all ballads. It feels like it's like how I almost said Animal Crossing. It's like how
Lion King?
American Idol's boring because they all are like singing ballads, and it's like, who cares? There's a reason these people like disappear into obscurity the second they get off the shows, because like nobody listens to that type of music really. Like,
Maybe I
like,
don't like
Josh Groban's got it on lock. Like, what are you guys doing?
Maybe I don't like ballads. Maybe that's like where we're really...
Yeah, I don't know. But I also, show tunes can feel very like cringy and cheesy a lot of times.
They do.
It depends on, I don't know, I guess if I'm invested in the story, or if, I think there's also a difference between like a cringy show tune and like actually like clever, good one with good writing. Anybody can rhyme like words together.
Yeah.
To music. So I guess I don't know. Some of them, if the writing's good enough, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I like plenty of musicals, and then like the song comes on, and I'm just like, oh Jesus God. Like, I like the Goofy movie, but I hate
they're
most...
singing again in this musical? What the fuck?
Yeah, I literally do that. I'm just like, oh my God, it's been like 5 minutes since we sang
it's
about
a musical. You're lucky they're talking at all.
I know.
Some
Dude,
of them they don't.
Shrek the Musical, they don't. Shrek the Musical is a rock opera, is what it comes down to. So, like, and I think I don't like ballads, is the thing it comes down to. Is I'm not
that's fair. I'm not a big fan either.
So, like, then when they... so, like, there's one song in Jingle Jangle that I really liked. It was sung by Keegan-Michael Key from Key and Peele, where he's talking about how he's the magic man. I would find that song on Spotify, and I'd add it to a playlist. It's a pretty good song. The rest of the songs in that movie, though, I don't like. There's one song sung by, like, this postal lady, and it's pretty funny because the whole time Forrest Whitaker seems to be confused by the fact that he's all of a sudden in a musical, and he's just like, what's going on, you singing? And then, like, these, like, background dancers and singers will come in, and he's just like, you got background dancers? But then, and like, that's enjoyable. Like, I'd watch a musical where the whole time Forrest Whitaker is not in the musical, and then, like, people break into song, and he's just like, what's going on, y'all? You're dancing on these dangerous scaffolds. What's happening here?
Yeah. I want a musical where one person doesn't know the lyrics and the dance numbers like everybody else. And they're just like, what the hell is happening?
I'd watch that. That'd be a lot of fun. But, you know, it's very and, like, it's a, like, if people like it, that's fine. Like, I'm not gonna like shit on them. Like, it seems like a very enjoyable movie. I hated
Young's here.
But also, it's a pretty dumb movie, and it's kind of unfocused. Like, so I thought I heard Zach, Z new to the chat. I thought I heard him say something to Dad, calling it Wonderpunk, which is actually a pretty apt description for like what they're sort of like the rules that they set up in the universe.
No, I'm laughing. Sorry, go ahead. I was laughing at some of the comments in the chat.
The Forrest Whitaker comment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
your Forrest Whitaker sounds like a Mark Wahlberg.
He's kind of doing.
Why are you guys dancing?
You guys are dancing over here. What's happening? He kind of.
Also, real quick, we have someone in the chat. Mickey Mayo says this music's got me calm. Well, it's funny you should say this because all this music is made by Ian. Ian Newton up here. Where can they find your music? Is there any good spots that you, or is it not currently in
SoundCloud and Bandcamp? But I'm working on getting a Spotify presence. You can find me at Supafly Arturo. That's SUPAF. Supafly Mikey Mayo. You know what's going on.
They know already.
They know. Mikey Mayo is a roommate of mine.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm a very good friend. Love you, Mike. But
roommate of yours?
Yeah, ex-roommate.
Nice.
But yeah, so Wonderpunk would be a good description for the like world, because like they set it up where like there's coefficients of improbability, or that's a real thing. Or there's a square root of wonder. And there's like mathematical equations for like there's like coefficients of getting dick sucked or something like that.
I mean, there is.
There are probably like, I mean, what people who make pop music have found out the coefficient of pop per head or whatever. So like they're talking about these equations, and then like there's a lot of math because they're like the story is that the toy makers, etc., etc. So there's like a lot of math of like what is the like there's a song called "The Square Root of Impossible" or something like that.
What's the plot of this movie? Why is there so much math involved?
So, Forrest Whitaker used to be young Forrest Whitaker, played by somebody who's not Forrest Whitaker, and he's like the best toy maker in all the world. And then he's like got this shipment of this vial of liquid that helps him make the bestest toy that's going to put them on the map. And it's what it does is it injects life into this
PCP.
That's what it is. They get some PCP in the mail, and then they put it in this conquistador bullfighter toy, who is voiced by Ricky Martin. And then the bullfighter toy is like, "Hi, I am alive." And then Ricky Martin. And then
haven't heard from that guy in a while.
he was in American Crime Story, the one about the murder of Gianni Versace.
Oh,
and that was some fantastic television, right?
Yeah, you mentioned you liked that a lot, but I didn't see that yet. So.
It's hard to watch because it's very violent, but it's good.
Okay.
Really good. But yeah, so they get the toy comes to life, and then young Forrest Whitaker, who's not Forrest Whitaker, is like, "Make 8 million of you and sell them to everybody." And Ricky Martin toy is just like, "I'm a one of a kind. I don't like being 8 million people." So Ricky Martin toy talks to young Keegan-Michael Key, who's not played by Keegan-Michael Key, and who is Forrest Whitaker's apprentice. But Forrest Whitaker is kind of busy that Christmas, so the apprentice is like real sad. And then the toy is like, "Hey, like, steal me and steal all of Forrest Whitaker's toy inventions, and then we'll go off and make our own company." So they do, and that's then it's like
it's a lot to swap between, like, to digest for like just the preface.
That's the opening musical number, which they, in between explaining all of that, they make time for the whole town to have like a dance number. It's very much like played like a Broadway production.
Okay.
We are talking Jingle Jangle up in here, Solantis. But yeah, it's very much like done up like a Broadway production, because I think they either originally planned to make it a Broadway show, and there's also plans to make it a Broadway show once, is over and done with. And so anyways, fast forward to the future. By the way, the whole time the story is being read to some kid, like it's a frame story, and the story is being read to some kids by a woman who is obviously somebody's daughter who appears later on in the movie. So anyways, Forrest Whitaker is now Forrest Whitaker. He's old. All of his toy inventions have been stolen. He's destitute. His life's just a mess. Meanwhile, Keegan-Michael Key, who has stolen all the toy inventions with Ricky Martin, is rich and famous, and he's like the toy guy. Then like his granddaughter comes and visits him, and it's a whole thing. They talk math coefficients, they invent toys, they have a snowball fight, and like they use math to figure out the arc to throw the snowballs and like beat each other over the head with these snowballs. It's just it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just kind of do it like when they're doing like the coefficient of wonder and the square root of getting your dick sucked, or the coefficient.
Why is he discussing that with? Never mind. Keep going.
So anyways, yeah, so stuff happens. I'm not gonna like spoil the whole movie because it just came out and it's not Christmas yet. I feel like there should be a grace period before I start saying the whole plot of the movie.
Yeah.
But it's all right. I mean, I'm not gonna watch it again. I read reviews where people were like, "I loved it," and I'm like, "That's cool.
Good.
Do your thing."
But you didn't. So.
Yeah, but you
don't like joy.
I don't. I'm very anti. I mean, you saw the movies that I watch for Christmas. It's like it's all these.
Watch Faces of Death for Christmas.
That's right. Faces of Death. I've definitely seen. I can't think of it. Cannibal Holocaust.
These are the things you watch every year.
Just a few of my favorite things. Anyways, Jingle Jangle. It's alright. right. You might not like it. You might like it.
Well, there's that raving review for everybody. Solantis says Cannibal Holocaust is my favorite Christmas movie. Yeah. I mean, it's a classic among all of us.
You know, we all watch it every. We got a watch party going on Hulu. We watch it every year. We all talk about the scene where cannibalism happens.
Is there only one scene?
No, I don't think so.
I haven't seen it.
I think they eat an actual monkey's brain, and like I think that one of the actors actually did that.
Are we talking about Cannibal Holocaust or Indiana Jones 2, Temple of Doom?
Kalima. No, they eat an actual man's heart.
Oh man. Well, no, but they eat a monkey's brain, not a monkey's heart.
Oh yeah, they eat a monkey's brain. His gray matter.
Yeah. That's the way you can absorb his experiences.
That's right. It's like downloading. It's like downloading his life into yourself.
Yeah. Everyone knows that's how it works.
If it isn't, then I am eating a bunch of brains and hallucinating.
I see we have a decent amount of people watching the show right now. Feel free to sound off in the chat. We love, engaging.
Yes, engagement.
I'm told that's important, so,
Internet engagement is more important than life. Tell us about your favorite Christmas movies. So Jingle Jangle, it's alright.
Okay.
I like
review from Ian Newton.
Yeah. I like the one song a lot, the Magic Man song.
Okay.
Soundtrack's probably on Spotify. I recommend checking that song out. The rest of the songs I don't think are. The thing is, I say that I wasn't like a fan of the music there, but also like it's at least got like more of an R&B vibe than a lot of the sort of like show tunes.
Yeah.
And I like R&B a lot, so like if you're gonna add any quality to a show tune, might as well be that.
It's like Hamilton.
Yeah, exactly. I still haven't seen Hamilton either, but what am I, rich?
Well, it's on Disney now.
Am I rich? Like more subscriptions? Jeez.
No, mine was free. I got it through my phone company.
What are you, a phone guy? You got a phone here? You will.
Oh, what am I rich? I have a cell phone now. Jesus.
Oh, fucking. That's also a weird thing about speaking of Bob's Burgers is they have flip phones throughout the entirety of the show, and it's just like
it takes place in the past.
I don't think they even make flip phones. It's also weird
They
temporally.
still do.
Because in Bob's Burgers they've had like 8 Christmases and Thanksgivings, but also the kids are all like 8, like forever. It's just weird. Like, how many Christmases can you have when you're 8?
1, because the next one you have you're 9.
Exactly, but not in Bob's Burgers land.
Well, it's what are we gonna? We're gonna age cartoon characters.
Think
Bart Simpson's been a child for 30 years.
That's right. And I am watching all of those now.
There were times that Bart Simpson was both older and younger than me.
That's true. That is weird to think about. Oh yeah, I've they mentioned Jingle All the Way in the chat, and I have watched Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way is a fun one. DrawBomb.
It's bad, but it's also like fun bad.
Yeah, and there's some good performances in there that make up for it. Phil Hartman's awesome.
Great. Phil Hartman's great. Sinbad's awesome in it.
Yeah. I like that movie for what it is, but I understand that it's like.
It's schlock.
It's schlock, but it's good schlock.
It's good schlock.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was cast very well in that.
Yes, he was.
Who would be better for that role?
Dolph Lundgren. Not better, but equal, I'd say.
Oh, you wouldn't notice the difference.
Sylvester Stallone. Just like all the meatheads who kind of have like a mouthful of marbles.
Yeah.
Although
I don't know what that script was written well before they were like, we need a big strong man play the lead, right? Like it could have been any human. I guess you needed somebody that would look like Turbo Man for that last scene.
Well, yes, but isn't Turbo Man's not a real?
No, but I mean, he's like some like, you know, beefy like superhero character, like.
Oh yeah.
Whatever, sci-fi, it doesn't matter. But like, you know, I imagine he doesn't look like Owen Wilson in like the TV show or whatever. Not that Owen Wilson was holding up or like relevant at that time, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you wanted probably a character that was going to be somebody who's
a big buff action, like someone
action.
Because Turbo Man's supposed to be like the prototypical superhero character, so you pick a guy who is big, beefy, muscly dude. Yeah. Make everybody look like little girly men. That's my terrible Arnold Schwarzenegger. Anyways, I'm never doing that again.
I bet you like 2 episodes from now, if I mention Arnold Schwarzenegger, I can get that impression to come out, and you won't even remember doing this one.
I'm your Uncle Charlie in the chocolate factory.
I love how, I mean, there's nothing wrong with this, and it could even be really realistic, but I do like that almost every movie Arnold Schwarzenegger did throughout the 90s, he was like, his entire family was very like American, and everybody he interacts with is very American, and everyone around him is, and then he's the only one with this like he struggles with the language, and it's just,
and no one ever mentions it either. They're never just like, right.
I know that can actually be very realistic, but it's just the contrast is still interesting and kind of funny.
Yeah. It's just like, we got this guy. He works deep cover in the CIA. He's got a really heavy, thick Austrian accent.
Yeah.
And you know his background check came up clear, so we've just moved past it.
Hello, I am a car salesman.
Hello, I am your pastor at your church.
We're straight up referring to what True Lies now.
When you give to God, you give.
Boy, does True Lies hold up? Because
Caesar, like.
I like that movie. I just don't remember I don't know if it's still good.
I mean, it's a James Cameron movie, so the chances are it does hold up well. I mean, Terminator 2 still rocks.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
is True Lies James Cameron's wife? Shit, what's her name? She directed Hurt Locker.
Wait, what? What'd you say?
Catherine Bigelow.
She directed True Lies?
James Cameron directed it. I thought Catherine Bigelow was involved somehow in True Lies. Catherine.
Obviously, Terminator 2 still rocks. That's like the best thing he ever did.
For sure.
I haven't seen that in a
while. Terminator 2? Yeah, me
years.
neither. Good Christmas movie. Great Christmas movie.
You know, if you watch a good movie around Christmas, it's technically a good Christmas movie. I'm
thinking of Point Break.
Oh.
Not True Lies. I don't know why I'm thinking of Point Break and True Lies, but
got some Keanu, some Sways, some P Sways.
Keanu Reeves, you are in the Matrix.
Yeah, I dodged the bullet.
Hit me if you can. Come on, I'm right here. Hit me.
It would be really wild to see, like, if you took movies that have been out in their time frame and then released them in a different era, who would be the like A-lister that got the role?
That's a great. I mean, okay, who would be in the Matrix if the Matrix came out nowadays? Keeping in mind, I am completely behind now on who is like the hot.
Yeah, now's harder. If you like went back like
Timothy Chalamet.
Who is that?
I don't know. He's in Dune though.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so Matrix now, who would it be? I feel like it's almost like... Okay, so I feel like I have to Google, like, current A-listers.
The guy who would be Morpheus, how old was... God, I don't even know the name of the guy who plays Morpheus. I normally know it.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Thank you. Lawrence Fishburne, how old was he when they... he played Morpheus in The Matrix. So right now, I'm gonna do some quick math with Ian.
Why isn't there a current updated list of A-listers that I can look up?
So he was like almost 40 when he was Morpheus in The Matrix. So Morpheus nowadays would have to be...
The Matrix now would be Lin-Manuel Miranda.
As Morpheus? I would say LL
I'm
Cool
joking.
J.
I don't know. Maybe.
But LL Cool
I
J is
haven't
actually...
seen him do anything in a while.
LL Cool J is actually like a little younger than Lawrence Fishburne.
Morpheus
so
could be Will Smith.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, if you're gonna have a guy who's the same age, you might as well just have Lawrence Fishburne again.
Oh yeah. Well, Lawrence Fishburne's older than Will Smith, isn't
Well,
he?
Will Smith and LL Cool J are the same age apparently,
Oh.
according to my quick googling. All right, Timothy Chalamet as Neo. As Trinity, it would have to be one of those girls from Two Broke Girls.
I just googled Timothy Chalamet. I don't even recognize this kid or guy.
Kat Dennings as Trinity.
All right, let's see. We got some some comments. All right. Nikki Mayo says Michael Jackson is Morpheus. See, I don't think that's gonna work.
Yeah, I don't think we can like a hologram like they do the thing like they did with Grand Moff Tarkin and Rogue One.
Okay, we're gonna have Michael Jackson's hologram as Morpheus.
Okay. I still don't like that casting. I'm still gonna try and think of a better one.
Hidden Pixel Places. Lawrence Fishburne was credited in Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warriors as Larry Fishburne.
That's very funny. I feel bad for the guy who plays. So you've seen What We Do in the Shadows, right?
Yeah, real quick though. This was the one I was actually going to suggest, and I didn't. But Hidden Pixel Play just said it. Sebastian Stan would be a good Neo. I agree.
Who is that?
He was in. I'm trying to think of some stuff he's been in recently. He was in. He was the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
I think he'd be good.
I think that'd be all right. He's about the same age as Morpheus was. Larry Fishburne. Larry. But I feel bad for the guy who plays Guillermo in What We Do in the Shadows, because his name was like misspelled in like every credit until he was in What We Do in the Shadows, and I think that was because he has like an accented. Hold on, Guillermo. What We Do. That's what the first name that popped up. So, hold on. Played by Harvey Guillen. I think that's how you say his name. But, like, in all of his credits, he was, like, until What We Do in the Shadows, he was credited under, like, a misspelled name or something like that I remember seeing. Go back. Well, it's just his name, his regular name, but without, like, the accent mark over the E. But that's still a misspelling if you don't spell it the right letter.
Right.
So it just kind of sucks. It's like, okay, you can finally afford. Like, we won't spend the money on the extra typecase letter.
I don't think that costs extra.
It probably doesn't.
In a digital setting.
So he was just like credited as.
You have to pay someone extra to hold Alt while they press that key on the keyboard.
Exactly. Now you can just press Windows semicolon, and that pops up the emojis, the Kai emoji, and the symbols menus now.
Let me try that right now. Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
We put lips in the chat.
Whoa! Oh my god!
I'm learning so much.
Oopsies, I just locked my screen. Lips in the chat.
Lips in the chat, everyone.
Everyone post lips in the fucking chat right now.
No, that is not lips. There
Oh,
we go.
God dang
In
me.
Pixel Play, we haven't hired a mod yet. If we had one, you'd be
You're
banned for
banned.
life at that moment. You're
God
lucky.
damn, man. Lips in the chat, everybody.
Lips in the goddamn chat.
That's gonna be a shirt now. We're gonna make that. We're just gonna take the flaming lips logo and we're just gonna write lips in the chat underneath and over it.
Yeah, we'll buy like Flaming Lips t-shirts on cheap, and then we'll just like write over it.
That works. Buy. Well, first of all, I've had. I don't know if I have it anymore. I had at one point a flaming lips shirt from Target.
Dude, if you have one Flaming Lips shirt, like that's not how merch works. We're not just gonna sell your old shirt. We need multiples.
Oh yeah, fair. All right.
Lips in the chat, man.
Lips in the chat.
All right, I think this one's done, right?
I am emotionally done with it. That's for sure.
Oh, okay. I actually enjoyed making that.
Oh no, I enjoyed making it too. But at some point, you're just kind of like, okay, I've colored this.
I've colored too many children.
Can it be colored? Can it be? Wait, we should probably. There is one thing I want to do with it.
All right.
Where did I? There we go.
Well, you didn't color both the girls' bows in her hair. What the heck are you doing? One white and one's pink.
All right, you fix that. I'm gonna make
Oh
this
my god.
DrawBomb a little more readable.
All right.
Lips in the chat.
Hidden Pixel Play put some lips in the chat, and now they are allowed to keep watching the show.
You are not banned anymore. You're lucky.
You're unbanned.
Oh, can you make me channel operator for a quick second?
Sure.
Trying to make some shit happen, but it's not. Lips in the chat. See, if we named our episodes post broadcast.
This would be called lips in the chat.
Yeah, I might change it after the fact.
Alright. Z-Newts tried but failed. No, you don't just write the word lips, that doesn't count. Lips emojis, obviously. Some people just play dumb.
Yeah.
I like that there's different variations on the lip types. Yours includes teeth.
Yeah, I'm not sure why there's two different lip. I guess one is supposed to be like the pucker mark, like when you go.
Yeah.
And I guess one is supposed to be like an actual like lips attached to a face.
Hidden Pixel Play is trying to play hardball. They say that you were banned from their show despite the fact that you're doing art for it.
Ow. Kill you.
So there you go.
Anyway. Eyes without a face. Lips in the chat. This drawing's done now, I would say.
Yeah, I'm saving it.
Cool. Now we're gonna draw the Santa drawing, right? We got a little bit of time left.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna save this.
Although we're probably not gonna color it. There's not enough time.
Well, I might color. We'll see.
Whoa.
We'll see what happens.
Whoa.
Oh boy.
Whoa. Lips in the chat. So yeah.
So what are all these people scared of now that I erased everything?
That's a great question. Let's retool the drawing. Lips in the chat. I have no lips in the chat and I must scream, says Hidden Pixel Plays. Is that supposed to be like the La Brea Tar Pits?
I don't know. It's it's a pool with the word chat written on it.
Yeah. It's got like it looks like it's wearing like little booties.
Yeah.
Hey there, give me a big kiss. I gotta draw the teeth on him though.
My body's a kiss.
My body's a wonderland.
I don't like the. It's like a Kool-Aid monster.
It is. Oh, the Cryptade man.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I give a mean blowjob. Games I've been playing recently. Now that I forget what I was playing last time, but I beat it, whatever it was. Um, so I've been playing that new Super Hot and Far Cry Primal.
Nice. What do you any hot takes?
Gosh, my takes are always piping.
Oh yeah, you serve them up steaming.
Steaming hot, laying that pipe. Super Hot 2 Mind Control Delete is kind of dumb. Like, I like it, it's fun, but it's also like they just keep making you play the same 32 levels over and over again. What's the deal?
Is that how many there are? 32?
I mean, as far as I can tell, because there's like this endless mode. Like once you get to a certain point, you unlock the endless levels. And the endless levels, they have like a list of all of the potential levels you can play in, of which there are 32. Now, I don't know if I get further in the game if they're gonna like make more available, but for right now it's just 32. So overall, I think the first one is just a more interesting game.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both making statements on like playing games for extended periods of time. Like the first one is just like, you should quit this game, you should stop playing it, and of course, because you want to see what happens at the end, you keep playing Super Hot, and then you kill yourself in the end. And then Super Hot 2 is like making fun of endless modes. So it's always just like, it keeps getting harder and you go nowhere. And yeah, that's an endless mode for you. That's horde modes. So I don't know, like, neither game is saying anything I think that's particularly new or illuminating for video games to say. Like, I've heard that message before in other video games, kind of doing the same thing. Whatever. First one's fun though, it's a trip and there's like a cool progression to it and interesting levels. And then like one of the big draws of the first one is there's like all these secrets that you find around like the levels. Like there's these like terminals that give you extra conversations and things like that. And in Super Hot 2, those are back, which they're easier to find in the endless levels, obviously, but like the things you have to do to find some of these terminals are kind of annoying. So in the first one, I could find most of the terminals by myself, like if I just like jumped around shit long enough. But in this one, it's like, you gotta throw us, like for the one level, you gotta throw a syringe in the statue of a bodybuilder, which unlocks a mirror in the bathroom that you... And like there's one where it works, like in this one that's called Bar, you take a picture off the wall because it's very conspicuous like that there's a picture there, and there's a dart in a hidden little compartment behind the picture, and then you turn around, there's a dartboard on the other wall, so you throw it and that opens the door off. That's fun, I get it. And then, you know, the next level is like it's a DJ club and then there's records, you have to pick the record up and throw it at the turntable a bunch, and it's like, how is I ever supposed to, like, I'm only gonna find that out by looking up a guide,
right?
So it's like varying degrees of like, is it fun or not to find the hidden terminals?
I didn't even know about those.
Oh yeah, I was looking for them after did you find the terminals in the first game?
No, I didn't know they were in the first game.
Oh yeah, in the first game, every single level has like a hidden terminal somewhere, and that's like the other half of the game. Is like one level you like jump out the window and there's like another building you can jump across to, and then like there's these platforms you have to jump across, but you fall through like half of them, and the ones you can stand on are ones that have like shoes on them, and that's fun. I enjoy that, and that I managed to figure out all on my own. Yeah, if you haven't, you should go through Super High again and go looking for those terminals, because
I do that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the second one too. I will agree with you. It's like not as creative or interesting, but I had fun. Just for like the sake of like a simple puzzle game at that level, it was pretty good, pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, I enjoy it. You know, for the base gameplay concept is fun, and it's interesting too, because like, you know, when you get to do the endless level, like there gets to be a point where you're either like so overwhelmed and getting murdered, or you're just like kicking so much ass that you're like an unstoppable machine. So it's interesting when like you're sort of like doing this crazy theatrical like John Woo ballet of murdering people.
I like the roguelike elements they introduced.
Yeah, me too. Like there's a lot of gameplay additions that they make to the game that I think are solid and make sense. It's just a shame that they've hidden it in a package where it's just like, nah, you just play the same 32 level. Like 32 levels is not a small amount of levels. Like it sounds like I'm complaining about the amount, but you do, in order to like progress in the game, you basically just do a snippet of an endless mode in each of the levels over and over again. So like you're sick of them by the time you're
actually get to it.
Yeah. So it's like 32 levels is not a small amount, but the way they make them, you play them, it just feels like not a lot of levels, which is like you'd want it to do the opposite in game design. So it's just it's weird how they make a lot of levels feel like so few. That's like a weird thing. You want it to go in the opposite direction.
Right.
But that's also the point of the game, is you just keep playing the same shit over and over again.
And they release it for free, which I think gives them a little bit more room to be like,
it does, yeah,
weird and creative versus being tied to like, did I get my money's worth type thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I'm not gonna complain about new levels. Like in the end, it is more super hot, so that's cool.
Oh, we got some comments here. One sec. Okay, so Zach Zenith says, super hot, really fucked with my perception of reality after sitting down and playing it. Something about the time only moves when you triggered something in my brain that made me feel weird in real life, like when you've been working in Flash for 5 hours and go make a sandwich and try to hit Control-Z to undo, but your dumbass is in meat space making a sandwich. Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like I've had those realizations more so from like VR games. Granted, super hot, you can play VR, but
yeah,
I've had those moments where I like get out of VR and I'm just like, I'm like looking at my hands and I'm like, well, what makes this more real than that?
yeah. Like the Tetris effect, like where you're playing Guitar Hero, and then if you like finish playing Guitar Hero for a while and you look elsewhere, like everything looks like it's scrolling up constantly, and you're just like, whoa, slow down. Yeah, I've had that effect with super hot. I have that effect with chess a lot too. Like if I play a lot of chess in one day, like all of a sudden I'll be like, okay, well, like I can only move one thing at a time. So if I go downstairs to get a cup of coffee, then I gotta, and I think about it for like 2 seconds. And it's like, no way, I can carry more than one thing in my hands.
Fascinating.
Just the ways, like, because you just get so used to operating within these parameters in these games. And then all of a sudden your brain is like, oh no, but there are not actually these particular rules that are, like, you don't have to, time does not move as you move, so you gotta get used to that again, which is interesting. This is my Ben Kingsley Santa Claus.
He is kind of Ben Kingsley-esque. So when I drew this, I was kind of intending, and don't feel obligated, but I was intending to have him like grabbing your character's collar. I don't know if there's a way we can still.
No, we could do that.
Here, one sec, I'm moving him a little bit. Well, I can leave him there, but I can move him closer.
Well, that's good. If you sort of get rid of this area that would be behind, like that, where he would be grabbing the coat.
That? Or
no. No. Move him back again. So like, what layer did you draw on? Each X one. So like, for instance.
In Pixel Play, I like the Santa DrawBombs, although it seems to obscure the vision of the bomb.
Yeah, the bomb cannot see. It looks like a grape with a hat on it because of the way we've moved the eyes. Yeah, it's a shame that Twitch doesn't let you really set the placing of those things, because that would be ideal.
other guy's head back a little bit, like he's being pulled in.
Right. Do they let you rotate in this?
Yeah. Oh shoot, I don't think they do actually. Or if they do, I don't know. Never mind. Don't worry about it.
I just moved his head back a little bit. That accomplishes the same thing, sort of. Not really, but still.
This collar is just far too long.
Well, I have it. I'm making it so like he's pulling open his coat.
Got it. When Pixel Play says he's drunk off nog, don't dampen his Christmas spirit. I like me some nog around Christmas time. I go
like some
nog
nog.
nuts.
You go nog nuts? Nuts for nog?
Yeah.
I go noggin.
Usually get some brandy and mix the two, but this year we just found this cheap brand that it's all pre-mixed and everything. Bought that instead. And gosh, it's pretty good.
Well, that's good. I have just been drinking like a damn fool for the past months. So, we did have alcohol for this Christmas season, and then I drank it all.
It's gone now.
It's gone. I drank it. It's all in my belly, and then eventually went to a toilet.
Are these guys' legs on screen or?
They can
don't have
be.
to
They got some extreme proportions. This is like those weird Uber Eats commercials where Mark Hamill and Patrick Stewart are like fighting each other.
I haven't seen those.
They're interesting because I don't know. They started off with like Patrick Stewart and Mark Hamill being like, "I got a baseball bat. I'ma beat your head in." That's why Mark Hamill. And then Patrick Stewart's like, "But I've got this cricket bat. I'm going to beat you shitty." And then the food comes, and they're like, "Just like Mama used to make," or whatever. Then they hang out, and then like the commercials are now a series where they're just like in the weird grimy warehouse that they were originally gonna kill each other in, and they're just like, "Oh, we playing ping pong, but I got my Uber Eats sandwich over here on the reason of the table."
Why are they fighting? They want sci-fi space movie superiority?
Yeah, they didn't want to get William Shatner in because he's a prick.
Yeah. He would make that commercial about him.
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you about the time that
Is that your William Shatner?
I haven't had a chance to really say a lot of words. I'm actually doing more of like a fucking terrible Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
Scotty, beam me up. What is the thing that is on the wing?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, no.
What can I say? Look, I trained to be a voice actor.
Yeah, I don't know what I like more, your Forrest Whitaker or your whatever. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. None of it matters. None of this matters.
No.
I like a good White Russian. I feel like that's a pretty Christmassy drink, even though it's not a Christmas drink.
It feels like a Christmas drink, I would say. It's you know, anything that you're drinking it, but it tastes like dessert. It's Christmas, the Christmas time.
Yeah.
Thing.
There's a Christmas feel.
Yeah.
So the last. Sorry, were you about to say something?
No, not really. Go ahead.
Okay. The last couple weeks, I've been doing like figure drawings and things like that, like going to like some website, figuredrawing.com or whatever the fuck, and just doing like a bunch of hours of figure drawings.
Nice. That's cool.
And I feel like it helps. It definitely helps.
It definitely helps. I need to do more of that.
Yeah. I just like was tired of looking at drawings I'd done and being like, man, they're fucking. How did their feet are not attached to like a working body? This is horrible. This person is disfigured. There's a
But
lot.
maybe you're just drawing disfigured people.
That's you know what
Maybe
I
they're
want.
representation as well.
They goddamn do. I should be on his boxer. It's probably.
Speaking of which, this Santa is just not. I'm not a fan of my Santa.
You're not?
I'm a fan of the top half.
Bottom half, not so much. Give him some shorts. Give him like denim shorts, like cut off jeans.
Cut off
Denim
jeans.
tops.
Okay. Here, this is the. I feel like this. We should bring everything up a little bit.
We should probably do that.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna scoot mine up, and then you can match yours up.
All right. Oh, I forget what the move button is. So I just have to. Do I have to select it and
Yeah,
before
I
I
just
can?
used one of the select tools up top, and then just drag. My God.
They asked the world of me. Far Cry Primal is fun though.
Good. I don't know, I started it once and I just didn't get into it, but I didn't give it much of a chance.
I mean, it's a Far Cry game. Like, it's
Yeah.
not a lot that's gonna surprise you about it. It's cool that it's like prehistoric times.
Yeah,
That's-
I like the change of scene. It's I like, when games kind of, especially games that kind of pump out the same thing, but slightly different each time. I like when they mix it up.
But it is still very much Far Cry gameplay, just fit for the prehistoric sort of vibe. But it's interesting because the very beginning of it does suck because, like every game, they make you go through the whole tutorial phase, and then there's like in Far Cry you have to like craft your upgrades and shit like that. Like, oh, you hunted 8 jaguars, now you can hold more arrows.
Yeah.
And like, I get it, it gives you a sense of progression, but also like the game isn't really fun until you've crafted like half of your upgrades, and then all of a sudden you're just like, oh, I can actually, this is actually enjoyable.
I can
And
actually
then-
play the game now.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like dumb to like hide the good parts of the game behind all that.
Yeah. Oh my God. Santa's legs.
Hey, legs are hard, man. They are not easy. I get it. It's also kind of interesting because my favorite Far Cry game is Far Cry 3 for sure. Far Cry 3 is just kind of set the standard for what the rest of the series is, but also it's just so damn good. And I also really like the main character's story arc because he sort of starts out on the island like a person would when he's thrown in, like he's like a rich locale kid. So he gets thrown into the island and he's like, oh shit, oh fuck, I murdered my first guy, oh fuck, oh shit. Which is cool because I enjoy when games, play the character slightly more realistically. And then as the game goes on, he sort of like is a good personification of the gamer id, because by the end of the game he's just like, yeah, I love killing, and I do like I kill people for fun. And like when you're playing Far Cry, like that's you, like you're walking around murdering people because you enjoy murdering people. So it's interesting having a character who so directly is what the player is.
Kind of like a comment on.
Yeah,
you
because like.
the player.
Yeah, because like the thing is, like you can like at any point in the game you can like do the main missions, rescue your friends, stop playing the game, you're off the island, quote unquote. Bing bang boom, done. But like, you know, if you keep playing the game, it's because you like to murder the people in it. So like the fact that you keep playing the game and then your character keeps murdering people, it makes sense when he's like to his friends, he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna stay here and just murder people some more because turns out I love doing that.
Turns out it's kind of my thing.
Yeah, it's my jam. So it's like it's like the coolest arc for a main character of the series because I think it's just very interesting and a fun sort of look on the behavior that games sort of encourage, not like in a
or ignore when they're like this main character that they're trying to like humanize, and then in the background, like in between cutscenes, you're murdering like 1,000 people.
Yeah, like Drake from Uncharted.
Yeah.
It's a classic example. Which I read that they made it. I don't know if I noticed this when I was playing it, but apparently you murder the body count in Uncharted 4 is apparently a lot lower because of those criticisms. They were like, yeah, so we made the body count less because it didn't make sense for you to be constantly murdering people all the time.
The realism.
Yeah, which is fair. I think that's cool that they took that to heart, and I think it's definitely something that, as games try and become more, you know, respected and art, or just like more grounded in reality, they are going to have to take a look at the body counts in games and be like, well, if you murder like 800 people, if we're going to have your character be like a character, like you should probably comment on how many people you're murdering though.
Yeah.
4 was interesting. 4 has a really cool story to it. It's got a fun environment, it's a cool story. It's like definitely where I don't know, I feel like Far Cry 3 is such a refined product.
As far as 3 goes, Aslanta says Voss is such a great villain too.
He is, yeah, absolutely.
And then also Behold Discovery said Far Cry with a heart. I'm assuming that's a heart symbol.
I think they're saying Far Cry 3 is better because that's a better game.
That makes more sense, yeah. Thank God you're here.
I know, I'm here to decipher all of these weird symbols. What are these letters and numbers? Arabic?
No.
Yeah. So Far Cry 3 is such a like well done, like they kind of like, since Far Cry 3, aside from adding in different vehicles and like animals, the gameplay is pretty much unchanged.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like, it's weird because like, you know, you hope for an evolution in the series as they go on, and like they kind of do that. Like they introduce things in the games, but none of them are like game changing. So like you just play Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4 is the same, but with a different setting and character. Far Cry 5 is pretty much the same. Far Cry Primal is pretty much the same, just like slightly altered to fit the prehistoric format. It's just you know, Far Cry 3 is so good and so fun, and I think it still holds up, like even after playing 3 other games that are the exact same game, just different.
Yeah.
I think 3 is still solid and still is fun to go back to.
That's fair.
So I don't know what they did different. Maybe it's just the freshness of it.
Now they're trying new settings, or at least they did with the last one.
Yeah, they're trying a new setting, and well, they're going back to like Far Cry 5.
One's gonna be like.
Yeah, me too. I know that, like, so in Far Cry 4, your character you have a character, but he's kind of barely there. Like he talks, but he doesn't have much of a personality. He's at least not as much as the character in 3. People kind of order him around. He's just like, okay. And then you do it. He's just significant in that his mom is what gets him into the fake country that the game takes place in, and then spoiler alert, the villain is related to you somehow. And then in Far Cry 5, it's just like you're a completely nameless, faceless, voiceless protagonist. You just you can customize him completely and well, not completely, it's a very limited customization system, but there's no main character that you're playing as. And then in the new one, they're sort of bringing back that sort of character you're playing as part of it. Like, they're going to sort of make the person you're playing as sort of relevant to the story and like have their own personality and things like that, which is cool because I like the way they handle that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. The villains in 5, like the main villain in 5, like the guy who's the leader of the cult, was interesting, but then like before you even get to him, you have to play 50 hours of Far Cry 5, where the other villains are not nearly as interesting.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's kind of like once you get to like them, and like so the main character is barely there. Like he's there, he's talked about all the time, and then like you talk to him in the very beginning of the game, and then you talk to him at the very end of the game, and then that's it. Like that's all you get out of him.
Yeah, I don't know, look at it that way, but you're right.
And he's by far the most interesting. Like even the moments he's on screen in the beginning and the end, he's way more fun to watch do things than the rest of the cult brothers and sisters that you deal with. So it's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, as far as the story goes, the game wasn't really that. I enjoyed the game, just the gameplay.
Yeah, same.
Because I like Far Cry and they're all the same. But the actual story was like whatever.
Yeah, so and I haven't played all of New Dawn. Like I started that, then my computer crapped out.
About New Dawn.
Never finished it, but New Dawn is interesting because they introduce like this crafting upgrade. Like you have to upgrade your home base, and like that's how you. Like the upgrade system works a little differently in New Dawn, and it's kind of almost more frustrating, which is unfortunate. So it takes more work to get to a point where you're not like constantly struggling in the game. But also later on in the game, you apparently rescue Joseph Seed, the main cult guy, who's the only interesting bad guy from Far Cry 5. I don't know how involved he is in the game after that.
You rescue him, so are you like someone that is like in support of this guy at this point?
No, so Far Cry. So have you finished Far Cry 5?
Yes.
Okay, so you know, I think we've talked about this before, but you know how it ends then, right?
Yes.
So spoiler alert for the chat. Spoiler alert. Far Cry 5 ends with a nuclear apocalypse happening, just as the guy, like the cult guy was right the whole time, and the nuclear apocalypse happens. And then you're changing.
Causes it.
Well, you cause it technically. He predicts it, and then you cause it.
How do you, do I remember?
So, like in the beginning of the game, he says, "By arresting me, you're going to start a chain of events." And then each time you kill one of the cult brothers, one of the cult leaders, like that's like lower than him, he says like a seal has been opened. And then when you go to arrest him, arresting him is the final seal or whatever. So as soon as you slap the cuffs on him, that's when the bombs go off. So it's sort of implied that he was right the whole time, and that you
I guess maybe I misunderstood the game. I thought he was like behind it, and that was like his like failsafe when he got busted or something.
Oh no, like he in the game he like talks about how like the world is just going crazy, and like there's a bunch of different, because like it came out in like 2017 or something like that, when you know the world was not as crazy as it is now, but was still like a lot of crazy shit. You know, people have been going crazy and are crazy, and etc., etc. So the game implies that he was right the whole time. I'm pretty sure, unless I was interpreting things wrong. The interpretation is that he was correct, and the apocalypse was happening all along. And then he has like a fun little monologue at the end, and when he's in the bunker, and he's just like, "I was gonna gather my friends and my family, and we were gonna hang out and ride out the apocalypse, and then you took them from me," which is it's a fun little monologue he gives your character. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he caused it. I might have to read a wiki or two to see if that it's.
Solantis says, "I hope 6 is good because Giancarlo Esposito is the man," and I agree. Yeah, he's a good villain, and he's getting to do his thing in this one. So hopefully they give him a good role for it.
Yeah, Far Cry also does its best when it has the interesting
Star
because like
power.
Yeah, the star power, but the interesting villain too. Because
Yeah.
like,
They
Boss was
only, they only
villain.
bring in Breaking Bad people.
Yeah, exactly.
Boss is from Breaking Bad too.
Is he?
Yeah, he was
I didn't even know.
Nacho.
I didn't know he was
I can't think of the character's last name, but he's one of the people working for shit, the guy in the wheelchair.
Oh, Tuco? No, not
Yeah,
Tuco. Tuco. They shoot.
But the family or whatever. Let's see.
Salamanca.
Yeah, Salamanca's. Nacho Varga.
Nacho Varga. I didn't realize he was.
Is he in Breaking Bad or is he only in Better Call Saul? I think he's in Breaking Bad.
I think he's just in Better Call Saul.
No, he's in. Okay, let's see here.
I'm looking through his wiki.
Oh, it looks like he's only mentioned by Saul
Huh?
in season 2 of Breaking Bad.
Huh.
Okay. Well, he's in the world.
He's a person that exists. I didn't realize that Vox was based on him.
Well, he's the actor.
Gotcha.
In the same, as the mocap.
Gotcha. That's interesting. I didn't know that. The other guy who's like the higher up. So like in Far Cry 3, there's Voss, and then there's like you kill Voss like halfway through the game, and I was like, what? And then you fight Hoyt, who is like the guy who's running the human trafficking ring that you're taking down in Far Cry 3. And he's an interesting character because he's a dick. He's a piece of shit. He's got like an interesting speech that he gives about. I'm a sucker for a good monologue where a character says their whole like philosophy. Like I love the movie Lucky Number 11 because half that movie is like Josh Hartnett gets whisked away to one building and then Morgan Freeman's like, do you know who the shmoo is? And then he gets whisked away to like the other building and Ben Kingsley is just like, hey mate, you know what I like about Skittles? I forget what his speech is about. So I like a good monologue where characters are just like blah 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 blah.
Yeah. So monologues are some of the best parts of a movie.
Yes, and Far Cry has a bunch of the Far Cry series has had a bunch where the villains are like, I'm going to monologue, and they either suck horribly and are awkward because they're a video game, or they're good. And Far Cry 3 had a much better ratio than later Far Cries. Although Far Cry 4, Pagan Min was really cool too.
Yeah.
Far Cry 5, lame dudes except for that last guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
yeah, hopefully the new one's cool. Maybe they that's why they got it. Maybe they see that.
Basically, to avoid me being tired of Far Cry 6 like I was with Far Cry 5, Giancarlo Esposito needs to, be either do a good job. I don't doubt he'll do a good job though, so they need to implement him well. Your main character has to be an interesting character, and they need to fucking evolve the gameplay somehow. For the love of God, give me something new. You've used the same enemy types for the last 4 games.
Hopefully they mix it up a little, but that remains to be seen.
We'll find out. Do you know what the definition of insanity is? I'm gonna throw you off the river. That's Voss. That's my impersonation of
How do you get thrown off a river?
If it's
a waterfall?
Yeah, he gets thrown off the wall.
Also, the definition of insanity is extreme foolishness or irrationality. So I don't know why people keep using this thing about doing stuff multiple times. It's not actually true. Webster's in charge.
You guys forget who writes the definitions? It's Webster, okay? Y'all need to chill.
All those speeches that start with definition or so and so is defined as
right?
Like Webster gets to decide that. You're not you.
Marriage is defined as the legally binding union between two people Usually under the pretense of being in love with each other. That's why I think my
tax breaks.
era is so right for Benjamin, because I remember the one time Kara came over me.
Oh, so you were at that wedding too?
I've catered 8 weddings where somebody starts their speech with Webster's defines.
It's a meme at this point, basically.
It is. It's
Yeah.
anytime like someone starts like with a definition, it's just like, oh no, we gotta sit through one of these. Catered a lot of those weddings. Your Santa's got quite the fashion sense.
Thanks. I was getting annoyed that I couldn't draw his legs right, so then I drew him really right.
You, fragile. Must be
That's true. I didn't even think about that. That's very true. His legs are fragile. Your Santa's like, I don't even know.
Which Santa's the real Santa?
It's hard to say.
I mean, clearly, like, I tried to color my Santa. It's like when in Street Fighter, both of you pick Ryu. So one of you is Ryu with a white key, and one of you is Ryu with like a black key.
One of you gets like Rose Art version.
Yeah, exactly.
Viola.
So this is the slightly color shifted Santa.
I feel like you need to beat him up a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I do gotta add some scar.
Yeah, like a black eye, maybe a little bloody.
Some scar tissue that I wish you saw.
I gave my guy a broken bottle stab.
Oh, you sure did.
In pixel places, one of those Santas should have a tattoo.
Birds of shit is so lonely of you, man. One of those. Hey, I'll put a tattoo on him. The birds of shit is so lonely of you. Wow, wow, wow. I'm done.
Give it away now.
Give it away. I forgot we did a Red Hot Chili Peppers bit earlier in this episode.
We did. It's a thing that happened. And we were all there for it.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
Who is Santa's mom?
Mrs. Claus. But, you know, Mrs. Grandma Claus.
Gam Claus.
Gam Claus. Mrs. Claus. You know what's a really weird movie is the Santa Claus 2. Because it's kind of like the whole premise of the movie is Santa's horny. And then they take him back to wherever like California or New York or wherever they're from in the first movie, and he fucking bangs a principal.
And then she turns into a Mrs. Claus.
She does. It's like Shrek, where Shrek kisses Fiona and then she turns into an ogre. Or she was already turning into an ogre, but you know, when she kisses Shrek, she stays an ogre. Which she still takes a lot better than I would have.
Well, that's good. She's a good sport.
She's a good sport about it. Good for her. Good. Cameron Diaz, I'm pretty sure, is who plays that character.
His wife?
Yeah, Fiona. Princess Fiona.
Oh, I got mixed up. I thought we were talking about Santa Claus there for a second.
Oh no, who plays the wife in the Santa Claus too? That's a great question. Who plays the wife? Elizabeth Mitchell. Pretty sure. Elizabeth Mitchell. She was in Lost.
And Santa Claus too.
And she's in the Purge election year. Is she the main lady in Purge election year? She sure is. Well, there you have it.
The folks at home wanted to know, and now they do.
You know, you can tell a good episode of DrawBomb when we're just fucking Googling shit the whole time.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
Quality. We're fact checkers here.
We do. We fact check frequently, oftentimes our own selves.
We don't have it in the budget to hire a fact checker, so we have to do it ourselves.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. And we can't pay anybody to be a fact checker. No way, no sir, no how.
No.
Oh, I was about to color that hard in.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay, you can keep it.
No.
Alright, that's two drunk Santas beating each other up.
That it is.
Wait, I forgot to color his cuts in.
Oh, boy. That's rough.
Well, it's cool. I mean, your Santa's got blood on his fist, so he's definitely like he's been.
It's a good thing you gave yours a bottle, because if it weren't for that, he would just look like he was being attacked.
Yeah. Gonna add some bruised and swollen skin colors to. That's what bruised skin looks like.
True.
I assume.
Probably.
I'd have to look up pictures of bruises to really get it right, and I'll tell you what.
It's not a fun thing to look up.
Yeah. I won't be doing that, thank you very much.
Alright, well there you have it. His nose is gross. Saving it.
It's saved.
No, it's not, but it will be soon.
It's saved.
Say it again. Do it.
What?
Say it one more time. It's saved.
Oh shit, I forgot what I was supposed to say.
Well, it's saved now. Anyways, that's another episode of DrawBomb.
Yes, indeed.
Thanks everybody for tuning in and watching, joining us in the chat. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Have yourself a very merry non-denominational holiday of your choosing.
That's right, there's like 8 going on right now, so pick one, enjoy it, spend it with the ones that it makes sense to. Virtually, yeah, definitely don't go anywhere right now, because that is a terrible idea.
And then eat and drink a bunch of stuff. You should do that. Like that.
Eat, drink, and be merry.
Right.
Yeah, good night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Do you have anything to plug, Brandon?
I sure don't. Besides this show, tune in Mondays at 8. DrawBomb.
I'd like to plug in a little show called DrawBomb. Every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless we can't get the internet to work.
Yeah, which is what happened last week. But
yeah.
But boy, this week 0 dropped frames.
Lips in the chat.
Lips in the chat. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.